The Pokemon series started with over 150 different Pokemon, and it was an amazing feeling, a big world with all these different creatures to catch and collect. But now there's over 700 of them. How are we supposed to remember all these guys? And where will it stop? Will there ever be too many Pokemon? Now, I grew up during the beginning of the Pokemon fandom, so I got to see the series grow with each and every generation. But then I also got to hear all the crap talking that came with each one. All these new Pokemon and how many there were, and ugh. I could do a whole video explaining how the series is still relevant and still great to play to this day. But that's for another time. The question I want to ask you guys this episode is, are there too many Pokemon? If so, why is that? And if not, will there ever be too many Pokemon? Well, let's start with this question. To all you Pokemon fanatics, like myself, do you know all the Pokemon off by heart? Sure, there's probably some born geniuses out there who can remember every single Pokemon and move and location with some crazy photographic memory, but I highly doubt us average fans could do that. Speaking for myself here, I find myself seeing an uncommon Pokemon and thinking, oh yeah, that Pokemon. The best examples for me are Pokemon like Stantler, Granbull, Kecleon, Carnivine, and a few others. They just feel so obscure to me, and I've generally forgotten about them. There are so many Pokemon that I find myself surprised about how many of them there really are. Sure, maybe my personal forgetfulness stems from playing competitively. Certain Pokemons, especially the ones I mentioned, aren't really viable, and thus I'm not really exposed to them very often. They're just not fresh in my mind, and that brings me to this: a lack of variety stat-wise. Now, I won't argue that just about every Pokemon looks unique from one another, but stat-wise, there's a lot to be desired. Let's look at these two Pokemon, Gardevoir and Alakazam. Their stats are nearly identical, with Gardevoir just getting a little bit more special defense over speed. They both fill a similar role on a team, and they both have the same weaknesses. Yeah, I know in Generation 6, Gardevoir got the Fairy subtype, but you see what I'm getting at. Here's another example. Alomomola and Wailord. Again, very similar stats, almost identical, and the only difference here is slightly different move pools. It doesn't seem like Pokemon can really take it that much farther. There's only so many combinations of types, move pools, and stats that Pokemon can really have. The only thing that makes Stantler different from other normal types is the fact that it learns Hypnosis. And that's not even worth it since it's got subpar accuracy. It's because of this that I'm sure myself and many other Pokemon fans only stick to a few Pokemon that we truly remember. They're the ones that are our favorites, or the ones we most recently battled or caught. They're just the ones that are the most fresh in our mind. If you've been playing a lot of Generation 2 recently, you'd probably scoff at me for forgetting such Pokemon such as Snubbull or Stantler, but yet you would probably agree with me that you would forget Kecleon, wouldn't you? It's kind of forgettable, really. We can only recollect so many Pokemon at any given point in time. It's just the way it is. You know, I'm sure some of you think I'm crazy right now. How can you not remember Stantler or Kecleon? Well, unless these Pokemon are your all-time favorites, I'm willing to bet that you're thinking this because I reminded you of them. So to you, you think, well, no duh, those are Pokemon, I remember them. But let me counter your argument with science! In psychological studies surrounding memory, there are many theories connected to recollection and specifically recognition. This is what Pokemon thrives on, and this is why we remember the most basic stats of every single Pokemon that may jump out of the bushes. Upon seeing their name, their sprite, and hearing their cry, our brain instantly turns into a Pokedex of knowledge telling us, that's a Pidgey, it's a normal flying type, and it probably knows moves like Gust, Wing Attack, and Quick Attack. This is all the information we need to know at any point of our Pokemon adventure, and this is what is known as a cued recall. A cued recall is a type of memory given through association. We can associate a Pokemon's look, cry, and even its appearance to what we know about said Pokemon. We can grab all the basic information, and that's why we can remember so many Pokemon just upon hearing their name or seeing their picture. You can even more simply remember the name to the picture, or vice versa. This is why I feel you can't truly remember every single Pokemon at a moment's notice. I mean, there's just way too many to keep track of, and we don't have any pictures or cries to help us along the way. But how many can we keep track of? Well, let's look at this logically. Let's go with 150. No, not because I'm some Generation 1 fanboy run amok from the Church of Charizard, but there is some logic to this. Sociological studies have shown that most social creatures can only hold on to social interactions with about 150 others at any given point in time. This is known as Dunbar's number, and holds true for Pokemon. I'm willing to bet that just about any Pokemon fan, old or new, can definitely remember at least 150 Pokemon off the top of their head. This is because we have enough memories of our little friends to remember them. We can all recall our first Pokemon, or the one that gave you trouble in that one battle, or the shiny that got away. It may be a little small to call a social interaction, but try it for yourself. How many Pokemon can you remember off the top of your head? Here, I'll even wait. It really shouldn't be that hard, and it can even explain why Generation 1 fanboys think that there is just really too many Pokemon these days. For those of you who did do my little test right there naming the Pokemon, I'm gonna bet that you group Pokemon together with their evolutions. Am I right? I knew it. So let's group all the evolution lines together. At the time of me making this video, there's 381 fully evolved Pokemon, which if we can remember those, we can remember all their evolution lines and get the entire cast of 700 plus Pokemon. But still, 381 Pokemon is way more than our brains can handle. That's way bigger than Dunbar's number. But maybe that's the point of Pokemon. I know, I've just spent this entire video explaining how more Pokemon is sort of bad. It's true that it can overwhelm players and we'll just all get lost in this sea of Pokemon. How could we possibly remember over 1,000 Pokemon someday? Well, the fact is, there's more than 1,000 different species of creatures in the real world. And that's the point of Pokemon. What does Professor Oak say at the beginning of Red and Blue? Welcome to the world of Pokemon. If there was only 150 creatures in the world, life would be too simple. We'd get bored of the world we lived in. But at least we would know every creature in existence? If that's worth it? Yay! Remember what I said earlier? I often catch myself going, oh yeah, that Pokemon. Well, to me personally, I feel like that's the right feeling to have. We should be in awe when we rediscover an old Pokemon that we'd forgotten about. Literally, as I was writing this line, I remembered how much I like Furret. It's just so cute and I completely forgot about him until the time I wrote this. Pokemon should feel overwhelming. There should be too many Pokemon to handle. It can make every trainer feel unique. With the 381 fully evolved Pokemon right now, there are over 3 quadrillion different combinations of 6 Pokemon to have on your team. Can you believe that? Sure, the Smogon community would tell you that there's only 50 that are actually worth using, but let that sink in. 3 quadrillion. That's like the population of China squared. And that's not even taking apart different movesets they could have, and stat layouts, and even what kind of items they're holding, which if you have the Eviolite, that adds even more Pokemon to that. It's crazy. And it just goes to show that although it may be an overwhelming and absurd amount of Pokemon, the real world is just as overwhelming. And for that, Pokemon truly did create a world unlike any other. Huh, it seems like I've almost described why we love Pokemon in the first place. The more Pokemon they create, the more we can train, the more we can love. And it's like every new Pokemon is like a new species to study and learn about. The series truly captures the scope of a world, and it's a sight to behold. But maybe I was right in the first place. There's just way too many Pokemon and it's too much to wrap my head around. There's arguments for both sides, really. So, are there too many Pokemon? I personally think no. We need more Pokemon. The more Pokemon we have, the more I'll want to study and learn more about them. And that's why I feel they should continue to create more Pokemon, and not just live in the shadow of previous generations. Will there ever be too many Pokemon? Maybe. But as long as they all feel unique from one another, I'm sure I'll love every single Pokemon some way or another. Yes, even you, Stunfisk. Even you. Obviously, that's just my opinion on the matter, so leave a comment down below telling me what you think. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree with me. Are there too many Pokemon? I don't know, I just told you my opinions. It's up to you. I'm just curious to see what you guys have to say. If you like this video, you might want to hit that subscribe button too, because I'm going to do a lot of videos talking about different aspects of the gaming world and dissecting it and thinking about it, and that's what I like to do, so maybe you guys would like to see more videos like that. It's not going to be Pokemon all the time, it could be other Nintendo stuff, it could be a lot of things. But anyway, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys later.